Now, the second middleweight fight is between Khamzat Chimaev and Gerald Meerschaert. Now, I just want to ask you guys, what do you think the odds are to this fight? You won't believe it, but Chimaev is the overwhelming favorite at minus 500. Minus 500. That's the odds that I would have fighting a piece of bread. And I wouldn't be the favorite. The bread would be minus 500. Like, minus 500 basically means that if you want to lose money, bet against Chimaev. Now, before I analyze this fight tactically, I have to be honest and say that I haven't seen Chimaev. I've heard of him maybe, but like this is the first time I've really delved into him as a fighter. And before I go into it, I just want to say that this guy is one of the scariest fighters that in recent times that I've seen in the UFC. He's got almost a satanic aura about him that he wants to smash everyone. He wants to fight anyone. Like in this press conference leading up to this fight, he literally wanted to fight everybody. He reminds me of like Khabib, not from this aspect, but just from like the mentality, the war mentality of he just wants to go one more. And like he's not scared of taking anyone on. He's jumped divisions, he's jumped weight classes, come back down, gained weight to fight different people. Like he loves to fight and he wants to make a name for himself in the UFC. And he's booked 2 fights. And listen, for the UFC to be doing that, to be pushing this Chimaev hype, I'm eating that up, and I believe you guys are too. Like, this is a fighter that we will see in the next few years in the UFC. He's extremely young, 26 years of age. And listen, this guy's lethal, undefeated. Now, you also saw in the weigh-ins when he walked up to Meerschaert, like, the way he looked at him, I don't know, it's just like demonic eyes. He was just like, maybe not like that, but like, he wants to fight, So he's an absolutely lethal prospect. He's an absolutely lethal prospect. 8-0 in the UFC, 8-0 in professional fighting. 8-0 in professional fighting, undefeated. Now, he's coming into UFC Vegas with a first victory against John Phillips by the Barbo choke. And then 10 days later, he fought again and beat McKee in the first round via destruction. Literally, it shouldn't have said via TKO, it should have said via destruction. Something that's really interesting about this fighter is his fighting ability, of course, but most importantly, the will, the energy, and the urge that this fighter has to get in the octagon to fight again and to make a name for himself and climb those rankings. Like, it's ridiculous. Now, if we want to throw a little more statistics out there, in terms of significant strikes, he outshines Meerschaert, who is actually coming into this fight with a KO loss in 74 seconds, I believe, against Ian Heinisch, which isn't the best way to come into a fight from a psychological aspect. So, again, like many people were sort of questioning Dana White's decision, like, bro, why would you feed Meerschaert to Chimaev like that? That's the easiest fight ever. But let's not forget that Gerald Meerschaert is a veteran in the sport. He's got 23 victories via submission, which is a ridiculously high amount. Black belt jiu-jitsu, extremely great grappler. Like, this is nothing new to him. This guy is world class from a grappling perspective. Now, is he as good as grappling as he is? Now, is he as good on the feet as he is in grappling? No. That's why it's like, if you hear the story of Gerald Meerschaert getting snapped with a overhand right and cracking his chin, you'll be like, oh, okay. Like, it's not like you'll be surprised. Ian Heinisch did that in impressive fashion. When I predicted that fight, I was like, yo, if it stays standing, Meerschaert could be, it could be trouble for him. Almost had a stroke there. But if he takes it on the ground, that's where his chances of winning go up, just because that's part of his game. He is a grappler by nature, If you're caught off guard and you leave the openings for Gerald Meerschaert to take you down and to, tower over you to potentially put you in holds like Devon Wynn did, it's game over. So that's what you got to watch out for. I don't care how old you are. I don't care, how washed up you may seem. Like, it's danger if you let him grapple you. With this being said, however, Chimaev is just a different opponent. Like, he's, again, like, I've never seen someone with such, like, venomous, like, will to fight. You know, he's just something so scary about him. That's like that I admire. The only way I see Meerschaert winning this fight is via submission in a situation where Chimaev just gets too cocky, because he's relatively new. Yeah, great, undefeated, but he's also someone who could potentially, I'm not saying he could bite off more than he can chew, but at the same time he could potentially think that he's too good, or that he's better than he thinks he is. I don't know. Like, and I don't know. I feel like if he downgrades Meerschaert as a fighter too much and just like questions why like he's fighting him in the first place, like, I don't know, Meerschaert could just turn the tables on him. Like, I could see that happening. This is only if Chimaev in the fight gets too confident. Now, in his fighting history, Chimaev has never let a fight go to the judges, and I believe that it'll be the same thing here. I don't see Meerschaert keeping up with the pace of a fighter like Chimaev. Just his pace and his relentlessness. How do you keep up with that? I see Chimaev winning this fight via TKO or knockout, because why would you try to submit Meerschaert? Like, I don't know. That's the last thing I would do if I was a fighter. And if this fight does end in a knockout or technical knockout, this will be like just an additional, like, this will just be an additional point, an additional way that he ends his fight, because most of them are ended in that manner. Now, in the press conference, something that struck me about Chimaev is the fact that he's like, I don't care who I fight. Like, I'll even fight Brock Lesnar. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, I would rather cut a finger off and just donate it than fight Brock Lesnar. Like, what? Even if it's for like 30 seconds. But the fact that he was willing to do that, the fact that he was willing to fight, he was like, I'm willing to fight 10 people in a day if I have to. I don't care. Like, I just want to fight. Someone who has that mentality, like, the only person that comes to mind is Donald Cerrone, but like, that's just the badass he is. But like, Chimaev is just a dangerous fighter. I'm going to stop saying it. Like, ridiculous. He's going to make a name for himself. He's a fighter that we're going to see in the UFC in the future, in near future especially. He's going to make a name for himself. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the future champion. That's how I think the fight is going to go. I think Chimaev is going to take it home via knockout, technical knockout, against a Gerald Meerschaert that, you know, gets clipped. Let's be real. He gets clipped. And that's how I think the fight is going to go. I'm interested to know what you guys think, though. Comment down below how you think this fight is going to go. Minus 500 favorite is ridiculously high. Like, I think that people are underrating Meerschaert as a fighter. Like, as much as I think Chimaev is going to win, these odds are way too like imbalanced. But that's how I think the fight is going to go. Chimaev is going to win. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more predictions. Again, like, I'm going to make predictions of other cards. Just click the playlist. There's a playlist where you're going to be able to see all of them. And yeah, if you do subscribe and I see you guys in the next one, then I'll see you guys in the next one.